Hello and welcome back once again to Movie Reviews. So, sorry it's been a while and it's been taking me a while to get my previous reviews up. I was a little bit under the weather for about a week. So all the movies I planned to see, I didn't get around to seeing until now. So I'm playing catch up again. First movie that I planned to see last week until I got sick, but ended up seeing now, was Maze Runner. Overall, was actually pretty decent film. Kind of kept you guessing most of the way through it. Although, again, I did kind of call the ending, but I was really hoping it wouldn't be what I thought it was, and it turned out to be exactly what I thought it was, for the most part. So you kind of jump right into the movie. You come into the scene with the kid in the elevator shaft as he's waking up. You get thrown into it not knowing what's going on or what any of the backstory is other than what you've seen in the previews. So he gets... they open up the thing, and at first it's kind of like Lord of the Flies, where it's just like everyone's like, oh, fresh meat, it's like he's in prison. Instead of being like, hey, don't panic or something, we understand you don't know who you are or what's going on, let us explain it to you. They're just kind of like, they're dicks about it. So he takes off running, and then ends up tripping over a rock and falls down, so they were able to capture him. They throw him in this little jail cell that they got made up, and they're like, we'll let you out if you don't run again. Well, maybe if you guys hadn't acted like jackasses to begin with, he wouldn't have ran if you would have made him feel more calm. So if this is the way they greet everyone, yeah. So then they explain to him, what's going on as far as what they know. They say that they only got 3 rules. You trust what everyone else says, but then they don't tell you anything. So how can you trust them? Because every time you turn around, they're hiding something from you and not revealing stuff that they should probably tell you so that you could get along easier. At first they don't even tell him that he's what's outside of these doors, and they're like, oh, we don't go out there. Well, why? What's out there? And they won't tell him. And then one kid lets it slip that it's a maze. Then he's like, did you say it's a maze? He goes, no, I didn't say that. Why are you hiding things that people should know? But yet then you're supposed to trust everyone. Then second rule is you don't talk about Fight Club. No. The second rule is you don't harm anyone else in the community. But then there's this one guy who's just kind of a total jackass and is always fighting with everyone. And, they're playing this little wrestling game where you try and push each other out of a circle. So it's kind of like sumo wrestling, but not really. It's sort of a mixed martial arts thing, but you just got to try and push each other out of the circle. And if you do, you score a point or whatever. So this guy, he's kind of a dickhead, and he's like the one that's toughest out of everyone or whatever. So he's always showing off and throwing everybody out of the circle. And then, the new guy gets a point on him, and then he gets pissed off about it and hates him through the rest of the movie. And he's also the one that was kind of the dick when the guy came up out of the cage, like, hey, fresh meat, instead of just saying, hey, calm down, relax, I know what's going on, let me explain it to you. So he's kind of the antagonist of the whole thing, but at the same time, you're going to have one of those in the bunch, regardless. But yeah, it says don't harm each other, but then, this guy's kind of always bullying everyone, so it's kind of a dick thing. And then once he finds out that outside of the door is a maze, he says the third rule is no one goes outside of the maze, or outside of the grove that they live in. So then, as things are going on, he sees people come in from the maze, and he goes, well, I thought no one goes out into the maze. And they're like, well, no, none of us go out into the maze, only the runners go out into the maze. Okay, again, tell people this shit to start with. Why are you keeping so many fucking secrets? It was the one thing that irritated me most about the whole first half of this movie is all these secrets. So then you get midway through the movie. I'm not going to tell you everything that happens, because, like I said, it is pretty entertaining. But then, another secretive thing is you find out they have this hidden map, sort of, where, because the runners have been plotting the maze and learning what they can from it. They know that it changes. They've learned its cycles and everything, and know like when they can get to what path. And it pretty much mapped out the whole thing, but no one knows that they've mapped out the whole thing other than the runners and the village chief, I guess you could call him, the one who's in charge. But it was his decision to keep it from everyone so that they didn't panic and think that they didn't have a way out, because they had essentially mapped the entire maze. So I can kind of understand keeping that a secret and like keep giving people hope, like, hey, runners are going to go out each day, they'll be back each day, you know, and we'll just have to see, you know, if they can eventually find a way out. And this has been going on for 3 years, even though I think they said they had it mapped after like a year. So, yeah, whatever. So that one's kind of forgivable in the long run, but like the other ones at the start just aren't. So then, of course, you know, he becomes a runner, goes out in the maze, and takes him on a path that they haven't been able to map before. And then, of course, because they're finally getting somewhere into this puzzle, everything starts to change. So, of course, the dickhead guy is like, it's all his fault, everything was fine until he got here. And they're like, well, you know, isn't that a good thing? He's like, no, you know, we're all safe here. He's like, we can't stay here forever. You know, so this guy's just kind of like content with being where he's at. So then they go out on running and get someplace they've never been before. And then the big reveal happens of what is going on. Sort of. So then they get to the point where, spoilers, they come to the exit of the maze where they can finally get out. And as they're walking down this new corridor, there's just a door there with a sign above it that says exit. And the one kid just looks up and goes, really? And I don't know why, but that just made me laugh, because it was like, really, it's just going to be a normal exit. So then they go through the exit, and then the reveal happens, which I'm not going to spoil for you. And so then you kind of find out that what I thought it was going to be actually happened. But then again, it might not have, because later you find out that it has a bit of a twist to the ending, and everything may or may not have happened. I'm not going to tell you what the ending is, again, because I'm trying to avoid spoilers, but there is a twist. And part of the twist actually involves another small minor irk I have, is the ending involves a helicopter flying over the maze, and you see the layout of the maze. It is actually this huge facility that they're actually in, but there's no dome over the top. The whole thing is like exposed to the environment, so if it rains, they get rained on and whatnot. But this helicopter flies over it, and you figure that it's probably flown over it repeatedly, yet no time in the Grove did they ever see this helicopter fly over. Did they ever try and signal it? They never noticed it until now. Yeah, it's just kind of weird. But then you got the twist to the ending, and it totally sets up for a sequel. So kind of looking forward to a sequel, actually. Not sure how many years it's going to take for it to come out, but they did bait one. And I heard this movie's doing really well. It's like #1 at the box office since it opened. So looking pretty good that there will be a sequel. So yeah, not spoiling too much, but telling you the few things that I liked and didn't like about it. So yeah. Other than that, as far as a star rating, this one actually kept me intrigued most of the way through. Like I said, it did irritate me with the Lord of the Flies openings and a couple minor things. But overall, it was actually a really good movie. Like I said, I'm definitely looking forward to the sequel when and if it comes out, which most likely it probably will within the next year or two. So as far as a star rating, first time in a long time, I'm actually going to rate something a 4. Again, not going to jump quite up to a 5, not quite a 4.5. If it wasn't for those minor things, it would have been a 4.5. But yeah, it's a solid 4. Definitely above the bar on this one. Not a perfect film, but a decent film. If it's still in theaters by the time you see this, definitely go check it out. If not, when it comes out on home video, Netflix, whatever, check it out there. But yeah, so that's pretty much it for this one. I'm going to try and keep it short because I still got another review to do after this, and I'm not sure how much tape I got left. So that's it for this episode. As always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next episode of Movie Reviews.